I mentioned just a few minutes ago, Kevin McCarthy has lost another vote. This is getting into S&M territory. I mean, this is really starting to get embarrassing. This is his 12th vote. He has lost by 8 so far. Excuse me, by 6 votes so far, but they're still counting votes. So. But maybe he's whittling them down. I don't know. We'll see. Meanwhile, today is, as mentioned, the second anniversary of January 6th. And you will recall that after January 6th, there were 140 on January 7th, when the vote in Congress to ratify the election of Joe Biden as president was passed. There were 147 Republicans in the House and Senate who voted against President Biden, against certifying the election and saying that President Biden was actually president. And there were multiple corporations that came right out and publicly said, we will not support people who tried to overthrow our government. Turns out, of those 147 members who voted against certifying the election, 130 of them are still in Congress. Only 2 lost in general election races. The rest who are no longer there retired. And Politico did a deep dive on this. A fascinating article. The headline is, corporations gave $10 million to election objectors after pledging to cut them off. They identified more than 100 companies and business groups that pledged to suspend or review donations. And they went back and just started contacting them one at a time and saying, you know, it looks to us like you're still donating to them. In fact, they say campaign finance records, this is from Politico, campaign finance records show that more than 70 of those companies, affiliated political committees, resumed donations to at least one member who voted against election certification. In total, 15 of those Fortune 100 companies identified by Accountable US gave at least $100,000 to those objectors through their corporate PACs. That includes AT&T, Boeing, Cigna, Comcast, General Motors, Home Depot, Lockheed Martin, Marathon Petroleum, Pfizer, Raytheon, UPS, United Healthcare, Valero, Verizon, and Walmart. And so then they reached out and said, why are you continuing to give money to these people? And AT&T, Cigna, Comcast, Marathon Petroleum, Raytheon, UPS, United Health, Valero, and Verizon did not respond. Of the ones who did respond, they go through and they list all the responses in the article. It's a fairly long article because of that. But, you know, basically they're just going, you know, these corporations are just saying, you know, we're ignoring what we said. We need to buy influence. The Supreme Court made it legal for us to buy influence. And so we are going to buy some friggin' influence. These people now run the House of Representatives, and we need our voice heard. And, you know, under these new rules of the game, our corporation, we have to compete with other corporations. And in order to do that, we need to be able to have the rules at least a level playing field, and ideally we will be the corporation who can make the largest contributions and get the best treatment by the various regulatory agencies and by Congress. And so that's what they're doing. Greed and capitalism have triumphed over principle and patriotism. I think you can summarize it very simply that way.